Retard. Retard.
So, hello. Welcome everyone. How are you all doing? Let's see, who do we have here? Luke, hello to you. Cohen, hey. Zunik, hello. Hi. To Senshai, hello. Hugh, hello to you. Fred. Nico. Tupolev. My god, so many people. Satrik, hey. Marder, hello to you. Leo, hey. DJ Douglas, hey. Danny, hey. Pilot Olaf. Stop, slow down, for crying out loud. Hang on, Eagle Motion, Cucumber Bush, Forward, Good V. Maurizio, Bodo, Airbus fan. Hey, greetings to Copenhagen. Airbus fan, I was actually in Copenhagen, not a night stop, but on a transit 2 or 3 days ago. Ingo, hello. Aaron. David Callan, hello. Niklas, Eternal, nice to see you. Eternal, thanks again for the lovely livery that you made for PMGG. Thank you. Talent Spotter, hello to you. Oh, Talent Spotter, actually, I know what caused the engine failure. I might give you a private message. Mark, hello, my dear friend. How are you? Hazen, hey. Fogbound Turtle, nice to see you too. Ram Air, hello. Omri, hey. Gustavo, Stoll, Little Pilot. Chris Flyer, Frankie. Christian Lunde, nice to see you. Chris Clark, hello, how are you doing? Aviation Alex, hello. Emiliano, Rob, hey. Flight Sim Dad, hello. De Drehflügler, hi. Alex and Dayan, thank you. Welcome everyone. So Fliegenmann also, thank you so much. Welcome. So thank you, Mark, for already changing the title. Much appreciated. And we are in the FENIX. FENIX A320, finally, man. How often have I accidentally showed you guys the start screen and actually you guys seeing the FENIX there, right? So, yesterday we had the first day of the NDA being lifted. Now, fortunately, yesterday I was still working, so I couldn't stream it yesterday. But finally, I am able to, and I'm very proud and honored to be able to do so. There will be lots of questions. I'm pretty sure. If you do me a big favor, everyone. We have a bot that saves all the questions, and the command for that would be !ask space and then your question behind that. That way your question will be saved and I can answer it chronologically. That really helps me. Good. Let me see, just make sure we don't have any questions open. No, all good. So, regarding the development or questions going into that direction, obviously I am still under NDA. I can't say anything related to development, anything internal. But interestingly enough, someone already asked me in Discord today regarding my opinions, or if I'm free to express my opinions, for example, when it comes to a comparison between the FS Labs and the FENIX. And I can honestly say that Amir, who I've gotten to know over the last couple of months, has strictly quoted to me personally in a private chat. He said, you can say whatever you like. So I'm able to quote my own personal opinion about these things. He definitely made sure that I understand. He has absolutely no requests, no limits. So I can say whatever I like about the FENIX, which I will do. Also, the only thing that's limiting, obviously, is the NDA. Right, so whenever I get a question that would break the NDA, I'm not going to answer it. Anything else regarding my own personal views, I'm fine to express those. Autopilot. Oh my god, hey, Motosua! Nice to see you. Motosua, and my dear friend, man, you're so generous coming in already with a £10 donation. He writes, hello, my good friend. I hope you're keeping well. Well, can't wait for this amazing plane. Motorsuba, thank you so much. And I'm sorry for not being in contact lately. I'm just extremely busy. You may have heard on one of my streams or video on demands. Yeah, so my reward flying is, it's crazy busy. I've never seen it that busy before. So absolutely incredible. So big shout out to Motorsuba. If you don't know who Motorsuba is, he is also a streamer on Twitch, streaming flight sims. So make sure to check his channel. Hey Wilfried, nice to see you too. I'm sorry if I've missed some people here to say hello. Ricardo dos Santos, good evening. Janneke, Lee, wie geht's hier? Gute wie. Henrik as well, hello to you guys. Thanks for joining. And Bruno, hello as well. My dear moderators, as always, thanks for helping out today. I do imagine it's going to get quite busy. How excited are you to finally show us this beautiful bird? I'm very excited. Although I have to say that the excitement is more on the fact that this aircraft, this add-on, is actually going to give me more options to show off some new stuff. So there are some new system failures I can show, some features. You can actually pull circuit breakers here as well. So it just gives me a lot more content that I can create for you guys. So that's what's really exciting for me. Yeah. Also, one thing I want to go and get off my bat straight away is a big shout out to all the FENIX developers. So not just Amir, obviously all the people behind the scenes, the developers, the testers, and everything. They are an amazing bunch of people. So
Autopilot.
if it weren't for them, and if it weren't for the really positive attitude, they always. And very respectful tone as well. They always portrayed. If it weren't for that, I don't know, how long I would have stuck with that. Given the little time I've had, literally over the last couple of months. So yeah, amazing. So big shout out to them. Absolutely amazing group of people. And also, since I'm already seeing some questions in Discord regarding the future of FENIX, I have absolutely no doubt that this add-on will be continuously improved, updated, with the help of some amazing people in the tester team. And also here, I have to say, we have some non-professional people, so non-pilots, that have an amazing amount of knowledge regarding the A320. It strikes me, I find it really fascinating how people, just by reading through documents, and I can assure you some of those documents are so boring, but they scan through this and they learn so much of the little details of the A320 family. So to them, helping out in the development of the FENIX testing stuff, big hats off to them as well. I don't know how they do it. So yeah. Cool. Yeah. So you guys, you already saw it yesterday on different streams. You've got your first. Hey, Mr. Ted Barker, nice to see you. You've got your first impressions. Before I go on, another donation coming in. Marder 1986. Big round of applause. Thank you so much again. So generous. Hey Blackie, danke fürs Teilen. Schon darauf gewartet hast du den Vogel zeigst mit Freund Grüße, Marder. Yeah. So Marder. If all goes well, Marder, for all the German-speaking public viewers, if everything goes well, I may be able to squeeze in a short, let's say 2 or 3 hour German live stream tomorrow to show off the FENIX in German language as well. But yeah, that'll be decided later on tonight to see if I find a time tomorrow. Marder, thank you so much for the €20 once again. And a big shout again to Motorsuba. Also, thank you so much, everyone. Any flights to Sevilla? No, unfortunately not. Greetings, Zwiebelkopf. How are you doing? I want to know something about the FENIX because I never cared about Microsoft Flight Sim, and now I found this channel really nice work and immediately recognized the accent. Yannick, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you are okay, let me go through the questions that we have already. So otherwise, it would be unfair if I read the questions of the chat. Does the FENIX have its own flight model and physics? Yes, Velux. Is it finished? Not completely. No. It's a continuous process, but yes, they have tweaked their own flight model. So it does have its own. Will the FCU fonts be changed? So any fonts. So as far as I have picked up,
Could new subscribers please make your
people are obviously looking at these fonts and saying, hey, you know what, these don't, or the size of the fonts, they don't represent those from the real aircraft. The developers, especially Armu, is aware of that, but from what I've picked up was obviously changing the code and the background isn't as simple as people think. So this will be a huge task. And let me just see it from a kind of a naive kind of external standpoint where I look regarding programming. From the outside, you would think it can't be that hard to change, but from what I've picked up, it is a huge amount of work. And be aware, if you change something internally, you always risk
aboard the Captain
of breaking something, right? And I know that you guys, a lot of you guys, are waiting for this bird to be released to the public and finally be available for everyone. So they needed to prioritize certain things, right? So their amount of work hours is limited every day, so their capacity is limited, and they are focusing on getting this aircraft into a really good state out to you guys. And yes, there are still lots of issues, there are still lots of bugs. People, especially very knowledgeable on the aircraft, will easily pick out these discrepancies to the real aircraft. So they are continuously working on it. Yeah, and I'm sure that again at some point you will see different fonts, but that's for the developers to say when in what frame. Is there any aircraft in real life with the old standby instruments and the EIS-2 and they only used together with EIS-1? Or Bruno? That's a good question for Bruno. So, to be honest, I am not very good in remembering, because I fly so many different aircraft types, so many different generations of A320s, 21s, 19s, and I'm not such I'm not really, how would I say, I don't know, my capacity, right, my brain capacity just does not allow me to store all that information, which has the old standby instruments and which has the new ones, etc., etc. So but there we go. So Bruno already one of those people who's so knowledgeable. So BA has some. There we go. Hey Philip, how you doing? If you're allowed to say, have you had an influence on the FENIX so far, i.e. systems that have been changed by us? Okay, Airbus fan, that's a good question. I would say regarding flight model behavior, yes. I found a couple of bugs, but I'll be honest with you. My bug reporting was limited, and quite frustrating for me was the fact that, again, we have some very smart, very good people really testing everything, and they put in so many bugs, and literally when I found something, quite often I would go into the list and I would find that had already been posted. So I was like 3 weeks late on that, if not more. So, but initially, yeah, so anything regarding, the feel of the aircraft, power, fuel values, power settings and so on, yeah, I definitely gave them some heat, let's put it this way. And I'm sure, yeah, they weren't always happy to hear it, but yeah, I guess in that regard, I did have an influence. But not as much as you would think, no. How's the performance compared to the PMDG 737? Andrew, for me, the thing is this. So you have, with the app that comes along, you have different options to render certain things on either the GPU, the CPU, or even the onboard GPU, so the mainboard GPU, if it has it. So in the user guide, you will actually find information on that. So this is the thing I'm talking about. You can't really see it. There is in here, there is an option to have display render quality and the render CPU GPU settings. Emra, I don't know. Look, this is something you know what? I think they're memeing me. I don't think they actually put in an Easter egg. I searched everywhere. I could not find. I know there's one Easter egg from Chewy. So if you go here, there's Chewy's Easter egg. I know that. I've not found mine, and I'm absolutely frustrated about it. I'm sure they're just memeing me. Aaron, no. So I'm not allowed to. No, anything in here internally, obviously, no. I would not be able to share apart from streaming it. But yeah, like I said, it comes with the infos here and yeah, user guide, normal checklist. Let's just actually get the latest sim brief. Big shout out again to, let's see who else we got. We got some resubs coming in. Actually, first of all, Danilo 1983. Danilo, thank you so much for your membership. That's really kind. Thanks for your support. That helps a lot with me getting new sceneries, which I've spent so much money already now in the last couple of days on new scenery. And in case you're wondering, the update, yes, I have installed the update, World Update 9, regarding Italy and Malta. So we're going to fly to Malta later on. And yeah, don't buy Palermo as an add-on scenery, because it's got a handcrafted one now. So first of all, so Danilo, thank you so much for your membership. And then we've got Avenger Orion coming in with 4 months now, 3 months later. Thank you so much for 4, Avenger. I hope you're doing good. And Danilo as well coming in with a €1.99 donation as well. Danilo, thank you so much for your support. Once again, that's really, really kind. Thank you. So yeah, again, the performance regarding FPS performance, I literally would say it's the same. So you can render certain things on depending on your hardware setup regarding GPU, CPU, onboard CPU or onboard GPU that you might have. There are different setups possible. So you are able to tweak your performance in a certain way. But for me personally, I'm running a 2080 Ti, the 12900K. DDR5, which doesn't really have an influence though. Yeah. Good. What else? In the EFB checklist, is it possible to make a custom one? I would think so, yeah. I've not tried yet, but I would be surprised if that was not possible. This is one of the things that, those should be easily manageable. Oh, let me also say one thing regarding the EFB. I know this is, again, a thing about personal preference. And if I look at my professional EFB, yes, there are certain features that we don't have here. But the developers of the EFB, including Katie Pilot, they obviously were looking at the consumer market regarding flight sim or flight simmers in general, and what they might find helpful. So be aware, it's an entertainment market, right? And for in that kind of sense, they did an amazing job. I think they did a really good job. And here again, I am sure they're going to be putting more stuff in the future in it. you know, more features, etc., etc. So we'll go through these as we go along. And again, there's you know, lots of things. You saw that yesterday as well. So they did really good work on that. Release date, I don't know. It's not official yet regarding release date. Still work to be done. How is it compared to the FS Labs? Well, so one thing you have to realize: this is not a finished product yet. This is a release candidate. This is not what you guys are going to get hands on. So they're still working on it. So anything that might still be broken will be fixed. Any features missing, or some of the features missing, maybe you know, inserted by the time or implemented by the time it gets released. So what I can say is that if the add-on here, if the FENIX is improved further regarding the bug list that's still, you know, in the system, personally I would think it will surpass the FS Labs regarding the amount of things you can do with it. But again, at the moment, it just would not be fair to compare a completely finished product with a product that's not completely finished yet. Yeah, and if anyone is wondering, I did throw out the toolbar pushback app because that's causing issues with FPS. We saw that yesterday. So Gabriel, I am rendering at the moment on the onboard, so the iGPU. Yeah, that's where I'm rendering the. And I have the display quality. I have it actually on quality, so the highest setting. You have options for balanced and for performance. I have mine on quality at the moment, but again, just like every time I fly the Microsoft Flight Sim, I limit everything to 30 FPS through VSync. Right, in the real aircraft, what I would do normally is I would actually go and open, and it's such a beautiful day, I would actually open the window, just let some fresh air in. Mustafa, of course there's still a bug list. There is a bug list with every add-on I know of, like, regarding even with FS Labs and so on. Just go into forums. There is obviously customers that find bugs, not just the testers, the customers as well, and they will post that on the forums there or make a report ticket, and so you know the developers put that on a bug list, right? So there's always a bug list. Hey DK, how you doing? So Danilo, regarding, well, I mean, you can fly it with a yoke, yeah, but I don't know how the immersion would be like if you fly it with a yoke. Yes, of course. So Ruben, again, you know, I have great respect for the fly-by-wire modders, because they are really doing an amazing amount of work and improving the you know, the basic Microsoft Neo. So again, it would not be fair to compare a freeware add-on to a payware add-on. So let's just put it this way: you can expect more fidelity and more simulation from a payware add-on. Obviously, that's that's something as a customer that you're allowed to say and do and expect. So, hey Julien, good. Good. Right. Let me just go ahead and just get into the views here. There we go. You've seen it yesterday. I don't want to spend too much time on textures, etc., etc. You've seen so many posts on the FENIX official website. Very nice indeed. Yeah, the Austrian. Also, Nick Fuchs, thank you much for your 4th month in a row now. Nick, thank you so much for the 4. I hope you're doing good. Guten Abend. lots of questions coming in. How many years have you been flying the Airbus 320? So in real life, I've been flying the Airbus 320 since 2012, so almost 10 years now. Hey, MCK. How you doing? Yeah, so yeah, it's been 10 years and interesting. Interesting 10 years, I have to say. It's a great aircraft to work on. So great workplace, let's put it this way. Flying wise, obviously, I'm an old Boeing pilot, so I have my own views regarding manual flying. So I would definitely prefer a 737 or a 747 manual flying it than an A320. But again, you know, there's so much more to it being on, you know, on an aircraft or working on an aircraft than just hand flying it. Yes. So Motosuva, that's a good idea. Let me do that right now, actually. So, oh, hang on. Let me also just try something really quickly. Hold on. I just need to go and find my settings for the sounds. There we go. Because I was just thinking that the sounds are a bit quiet. If at any time you guys think that the simulator sounds are way too loud, let me know, please. Yeah, so someone had pointed out, and this is something I have to admit, I've never checked that in real life, but I can promise you, on my next flight in the real aircraft, I will actually do that. I will pull out the whiskey compass, as we say, and then I will actually try this. So let me do something first. Let me before I switch. Oh, that was me. I was pressing the L key on. What I will do is I'm gonna switch off the APU, and then we'll start the APU because there's a certain effect. Oh, just like in real aircraft, you have to do this. Safety pin or latch. So let me go ahead and go route services. Oh. Let me see. It is a bit picky when it comes to all the click spots. Come on. There we go. So let's get the GPU connected. There it is. And then let's switch off the APU. And that's actually a good point. I can actually give you guys the sounds for the APU switching off. Now, obviously, you guys know what happens when you have used the APU bleed. It does not switch off immediately. It does a cooldown cycle. Benchai, do you know if the Thrustmaster A320 hardware is supported fully? As far as I know, yes. I know that some of the testers have been using it. Does the FENIX work with... Hang on, yeah, okay, hang on. I'll wait until the APU switches off. Sorry. Man, 3 minutes can be long. Yeah, good trick. Yeah, Blanche, let me just wait until it shuts down, otherwise I have to shout so loud. Yeah, it's cool down. Has somebody taken the time? There we go. Now switch off. Yeah, you can even see the heat blur from the exhaust, yeah. Yeah, peace and quiet. Yeah, so the cool down is there. If you use bleed air from the APU, the APU has to do a lot of work, obviously. So it needs a lot more fuel that has to be injected to cope with the extra load that's being put on the APU. Be aware that with the APU bleed air, you can actually supply both packs on the ground, and the packs need a lot of bleed air. So there's a huge difference, and maybe we can show that when we start up the APU again, regarding having the APU only running and not using any electric or bleed supply from it. But the moment that you use bleed supply, it has a huge impact on the EGT. And so when you switch off the APU, what it does is an automatic cool down cycle where you would have it running for about 3 minutes without the electrical and the bleed supply. So the EGT is lower and stabilizes the turbine section. Right. So that's when they found out at some point that would extend the life of the APU, so the service life. Hey Rodeo, nice. Okay, you have a two cat who asked the aircraft the FENIX 20 like the brand cat food. Yeah, I think not. It will be that will be problematic regarding copyright. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, regarding the flap closing at the rear of the aircraft. So, for example, you have the air intake flap here. You see this? All right. Let me just go trying to get that into. Yeah, there we go. So what happens when you switch on the APU master switch? That flap slowly opens. Let's see. There's no official release date yet, no. I've not actually tried that yet. Flaps open. Oh, it is. Now you can see it. Now you can see it. Look at that. You see that opening? Ever so slowly. There we go. When you switch on the master switch, you have to wait 3 seconds before, or you should wait 3 seconds before switching or pressing the start switch for the cycle to start. You can even hear the igniter. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's the igniter clicking up. Oh, wow. Hang on. Yeah, I did. But, right, we're going to break the APU now, I think. So, man, I would never do this in real life. That would be asking for trouble. Yeah, so Red, exactly. We'll move that.
Autopilot.
Ralph, thank you so much, Ralph, for the
Autopilot.
€50. My God. Guys. You guys have been so generous over the last couple of streams. Thank you so much. Ralph coming in with a €50 donation, small donation for all the sceneries. That's really cool. Ralph, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. Oh my God! Hey.
Welcome aboard the
Wow,
Captain
that's an
Twitch
honor.
channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight
Wow,
entertainment
Sim
will be
Toolkit
served.
Pro
Thank
coming
you.
in. Now, I'm sure you all know Sim Toolkit Pro, who's been giving us this amazing add-on, this amazing app. There we go. There's the link, Mark. Thank you so much. Big hats off. Exactly. Sim Toolkit Pro is live. If I can't imagine anyone not knowing about this app yet, but if not, follow that link and just be amazed. Thank you, Sim Toolkit Pro, for your membership. That's really kind of you. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it is looking good. Yeah. Thank you so much. I am really looking forward to all of these, new systems or simulations, allowing us to do a lot more stuff in the future. Good. Let me try the feature. What I was going to try and show you, anyways. So have a look here now at the compass. And
Captain, the charts are blocking the view.
thank you. Hey, V Chris, nice to see you. Sorry. Thank you, V Chris. Right, so when you start the APU, you see that interference. So we have a magnetic interference because of the current that goes through here in the cockpit regarding that that starter. Now, again, I've never seen this in real life. I've never looked at this, and so I'm gonna check this, and I'll film it, guys. I'll record it, and it has the interference until the starter cuts out again. So it should be 200. There we go. Now it's coming back again. You see? And Srihari Sukesh, hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you much for the 20. I'm not even sure what currency that is. Thank you so much for your support, my friend. Thank you very much. No, the FS Labs does not do that, no. So, have a look at the EGT right now. So it's stabilizing after startup. It's stabilizing at about 360, 75, somewhere in that region, I would say. So it's slowly coming back. If you start using the power, so now we switched electric current to it, you can see, well, it should have a little effect, but not that much. Yeah, you can see it going up just a little bit. But if I start using APU bleed air, then it should go up even more. There we go. Look at that. You see now the pack. There's a delay, and I like how it is actually delaying because the packs, as they kick in, they start up. So the packs, they're very loud. If you ever boarded an A320 on the apron itself, you hear that whine from the packs. It's really loud, and so they have a turbine section, a compressor section as well in there. That's why it has that high-pitched sound. But you can understand here now that already, yeah, both packs being supplied right now from the bleed air. Right, both of them have run up. Now the APU needs to do a lot more work, so more fuel is being ejected, and so the EGT rises. And again, that's the reason why when you switch off the APU, it does an automatic cool down.
premium flight
So again,
entertainment will be served.
packs are being
Thank
switched
you.
off, and the EGT goes down. And so that's the effect. That's the effect you have with the cooldown cycle. EGT just cools down a bit. The turbine section just stabilizes at the low temperature. So it doesn't do a hard cool down. That's really what I'm trying to say. So Airbus fan, you were asking if it's going to work with Skalaki. Now, the latest info on that is that they are trying to get permission or get a license from Skalaki so that they can use it and implement it. So they are on it, because I actually got on their nerves as well, because I said I want to have it, and I want it. I didn't say I would like it. I said I want it. So yeah, they're looking into it. I would really appreciate that as well if that was possible. So yeah, it is Thales. Yeah. Right. Another thing we saw already on the video, and if you zoom in and you look at the level of detail, so that animation. I know there's people saying I don't care about this. I care more about system depth and everything being simulated correctly. I fully understand that, and everybody's entitled to their own views. But obviously, then there's people that will have more, or actually will enjoy the sounds and these visual kind of fidelities more than the system depth simulation, that sort of stuff. So everyone is entitled to their own views, and everyone will use these add-ons to their own personal preference and liking. So there we go. Hey Toto, hang on. What? Can you fire up hydraulics and start moving the flight controls around while looking at the APU EGT? What kind of question is that? Hang on. You mean like, oh, I now I get it. You're trying to ask me if it's simulated that the hydraulics, etc., are going to be. So it would be the electric. It would be the yellow and green hydraulic. Sorry, the yellow and the blue hydraulic and the PTU. Then so the APU would have to do more electric supply. Yeah, so high power. I mean, yeah, without trying to extend the preparations here for too long. The problem is, let me see. So let me go switch off the APU bleed here again. Let me leave that, and so let's see if it stabilizes. What's about 400 degrees? Yeah, so Browns, I saw your question as well. Let me just get to that. Regarding the reverse thrust, so if you have a throttle, so a peripheral, right, you have options to set a range in the control config. So you can actually set and calibrate full reverse, idle power, climb, flex, MCT, and toga. So you can actually, in the range of your peripheral thrust levers, you can actually set a reverse zone. So yes, you can have reverse thrust on your thrust levers there. Yeah. Good. So let's see where it's stabilized. It's stabilized about 345. Then let's just quickly go up here. Let me go and get the blue hydraulic pump on, and let me get the yellow ilic pump on. So now we should have this is 345 right now. So now obviously we have the PTU running, so the power transfer unit, and we have the yellow electric pump running, and we have the blue electric pump running. So yes, there's a lot of electric load on the APU. If I move the flight controls now, yeah, you would think higher demand would then create a lot more
demand on the generator and cause a higher yeah, but again, Toto, yeah, you could put this in as a request, and I don't know if they would implement such a thing, but there we go. I mean, given the fact that this is a add-on, you know, for what, 49.99 euros, and I'm impressed by the fact that actually simulated that with the bleed air for the packs. So happy with that. Is there anything you would go back on the FS Labs for now at all? It's going to make it very difficult, to be honest. It's going to be more and more difficult to really, you know, justify going back to the FS Labs. Oh, sorry, was it 49.99 British pounds? Yeah, 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 British pounds. About 60 euros then. Yeah. Good. So what we've done is we have uploaded. I'll just look at the sound differences. Wow, you need to be quick on that. Close that completely. Hey Jeremiah. So, regarding option sim settings, you have different options regarding airframe. So you could have the analog standby instruments or the ESIS if you want. And I quite like that as well. You can switch that on the go. You don't need to restart the sim. You could even have a metric standby altimeter there as well if you wish. Let's quickly get rid of that as well. You can get rid of the DDRMI if you wanted to, if that's, you know, something you would like to see or not see. Oh yeah, somebody asked about the cabin. So, oh, that reminds me, I can hear the PTU barking. We need to switch something off here. So yellow lick pump off, and let's go and get the blue hydraulic pump off. Right. There you go. So regarding the model of the cabin, it has a wonderful cabin modeling as well, yeah. And yeah, looks nice, I have to admit. So even some PBR here. And seatbelt signs will illuminate if you switch on seatbelt signs. Obviously we have to refuel still, so that's why they're still off. Attendant panel here. I played around with that. It's not clickable, is it? I would be very surprised there. But there we go. So that's the cabin as well. You can actually, I guess, for performance improvements, you can click that off. Units, hectopascals, inches mercury, meters, controls, linked barometers for me, auto jetway simulation. That, yeah, you've seen that yesterday, I think. There's no need to go through that again. Panel states, you can do cold and dark, turn around with the APU, turn around with the PCA on, or ready with engines running. Mass and balance, we'll do that later. Actually, we'll do that now. Yeah, let's go and get everything started regarding the... Oh my god, what? Am I 25 minutes late already? Blimey. Let's re-import that. I'm talking too much. Oh god. Well, actually, you know what? Yesterday I was 2 hours late. We had a slot time back to Frankfurt, 2 hours late. due to thunderstorms there. It was a nightmare yesterday. So, yeah, exactly. They will add sharklets at some point, and as far as I've heard, the further add-ons will be, or the at least the sharklet version. I don't. Before I said something wrong, I don't know exactly which versions will be free. What's my favorite feature? Well, for me personally, at the moment, it's the option, the possibility to have more failures. So I can play around with a lot more things here. Right, init request. Does the MCDU have a fixed page? Yes, it does. So not only does it have that, it actually has something the FS Labs doesn't, which is equal time point. So, or equitime point. That's something the FS Labs doesn't have. And yeah, offset. Although I think there's, well, it does work, but not always. I think somebody else said it didn't work for them. I need to check that. We can check that during the flight though. Good. So we've got the normal preparations as always. We always go through the same, procedures. So we have our so-called diff-rips model. And we pilots use that, and I still use it in real life because there is a lot of data you need to insert into the MCDU and do some setups regarding the flight control unit, the radios, etc., etc. So for us pilots, and you have to realize this when you're sitting in front of your PC at home. Well, you may have some distractions because, I don't know, your wife comes in, or your girlfriend comes in, or your boyfriend comes in, or your parents come in, or your cat comes in, your dog, whatever. So you might have some small distractions, but I can tell you this: if you are the captain and if you are preparing, if you're pilot flying, then you will not find more than 5 minutes peace and quiet in the cockpit, because there's always something happening. So either your phone rings, it's a gate, or ramp agent has an issue, and the cabin crew will have an issue somewhere. You're always being distracted. So it's so vital that you have these mnemonics and kind of a red, well, we call it red line, so to follow, and so that mnemonic diff-rips really helps. So it starts with data, and we look at the aircraft status. So make sure we have a good database. This is normally, for us, it's normally changed by maintenance, but it can happen that you need to change that yourself, and you have to do it on the ground. You can't do it, well, you're not allowed to do it in flight, because it potentially deletes everything in the FMS regarding your routings, your call signs, etc., etc. So yeah, so make sure that's implemented. Then we go to the init A page, so that's the DI, so init A page, and we fill out everything we need to fill out here. So we are called Austrian 711 today. Kostenex, well, let's do this according to the flight plan. So let's go here, pilot brief, operational flight plan. So we need a Kostenex of 18. There we go, so 18 it is. Oh, if there's one thing I would love to have, is actually a Kostenex 4, no. I would love to have a pop-out MCDU. That's something I do miss here. Cruise level, I think I requested 350 because I think 37 is going to be a bit high. I know it has 370 here in the flight plan, but I'm going to go initially with 35, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Let's start boarding as well, shall we? So I'm going to go with the ground services. Then we go aft stairs and door to left. Cargo's open, and then we're going to start loading the aircraft. So it has a planned passenger load of 147 passengers. And here you can see how many have been boarded. So you see that that center of gravity slowly move upwards as the weight increases, and that's the weight, and the position of the CG changes. Right, hang on. Oh, let's see. Signs. That is off. Hey, Aviator 320. Right, hang on. I've forgotten something. Ground services. Doors are open. That's open. That's connected. What did I just wonder if it's because I'm way behind schedule. Oh, there we go. No, I didn't press it correctly. That's why. So you can, you can load instant. You can do fast time, or you can do real time. Let's do real time because I'm going to need a couple of minutes to prepare everything. And there we go. So you've got the cargo being loaded now, and you've got the passengers slowly being loaded. So what we're going to do first of all, go to received messages, and we're going to see a preliminary load sheet. And so that's what happens in real life as well. We have initial information on our expected zero fuel weight. We know the takeoff fuel, and so we have an expected takeoff weight as well that we can calculate our take performance with. So 59.9. I always leave the zero fuel weight CG open, because that way I know that I still need to enter the final values. If I would enter the CG right now, I would run into the risk of forgetting to update the weights later on, which could be quite, well, I wouldn't say drastic, but it could lead to some, wrong calculations for sure. Fuel-wise, so takeoff 6.3, so I would say fueling is going on as well here. So the block fuel will be around 6.5. Yeah, sorry if I miss any questions. I'm trying to go through the questions as quickly as I can. So fixed page does have. Which flight model in Microsoft Flight Sim does FENIX recommend, if they recommend at all? Yeah, modern, yeah. So legacy, I don't think legacy is recommended at all, really, for any add-ons, external add-ons. But correct me if I'm wrong. Can you say a few words about the knobs and buttons on the ADIRS panel that are not in the FS Labs? Well, I mean, the thing is, you obviously have some options regarding the displays. So again, you have your 3 ADIRS units, and you can call up the different units and look at things like, the heading, the status, the track, ground speed. So right now that would be a residual ground speed, so drift. If I go to data, IRS monitor, you can go through these. So there we go. So that shows you pretty much the same info as you would get from above. Hey, Mr. Saturday. So you would know of any Senshai? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's why I have not heard anything either on that. So if you go through those, yeah, you would expect some different values depending on the system that you're using. Here you got some test features as well. Present position. I would never really mess about with those. Yeah, and here you have a keypad where you could enter certain things like the position right now, so position updating. But since, yeah, it's already a fairly large area, yeah, that's true. But to be honest, that system itself up here is not really, or that panel is not really touched, because you do everything through the MCDU here. Good. Right. What else do we have? Oh yeah, so and also pretty much so there are systems of the older ones you cannot deselect the IR unit individually. So you can only switch off the IR or put it into attitude mode. The ADR, so the air data reference information for the private flight displays, for example, you can actually deselect individually, and they are reversible. Right, so captain side, obviously, that would be ADR2. Right, there we go. So ADR2 switched off. So I have the ADR data missing on the FO side, and that's for the backup ADR3 unit. So those are obviously simple push buttons, so you can select those off and on. But yeah, that's all there really is to it. I don't stream on Twitch anymore at the moment. Well, not primarily because I have issues with Twitch, and I just left them because they would not listen to me, to my concerns, etc. They leaked my personal data for everyone to see. They didn't care about that either. So I'm at an age where I just do not accept these that kind of behavior. I'm sorry. So they don't get any money from me anymore for that. Can the APU be up and running while refueling? Yes, Emre. I know what you're getting at. There were times when Airbus actually recommended not either running the APU or not starting or shutting down the APU during refueling. That has been completely changed. That view has been changed completely. So there are, however, be aware though, there are airports where in the AOI you will find the airport not allowing to start the APU for refueling. And also if you had an automatic shutdown of the APU, so an issue with the APU, you should not start it during refueling. But again, those are limitations that have been already revised. Yeah, so again, so IRS, you could do that. The instant, hang on, let me just check something. IRS config, just so that I don't get confused. So aircraft config, you have 7 pages of different options in here. So not just in the MCDU, you have a lot more here. Go around nav, I'm going to put this to on. Default engine, acceleration height 1,000 feet, ice detection off. Okay, we're on flight sim time right now. That doesn't do anything right now. Brake fans we have available. European antenna, LED lights. That's right. Call outs. We'll check it again. Actually, 400, 300. I don't want the 500. There we go. Interesting. Yeah. So I'm wondering. Yeah. Probably you cannot change the alignment time. Okay, so Chinaski, can you ask me again during flight, please, regarding spoilers? Well, I mean, I could. Right. I'm trying to get airborne at some point. I'm not trying to do Fabio here. Talking for 2 hours or 3 hours before getting airborne, but I'm actually already 1 hour in. The Sharklets was selected, so. See if I can. Right, I've never tried this on the ground. We've got hydraulics. It shows speed brakes. Something up. I'm a bit surprised. I've never tried that on the ground, to be honest. So I would think you should have the spoilers raising. It's raising a little bit. Oh, hang on. Let's just go here. Ah, there we go. Look, I can do some ground spoilers here. Or actually, these are flight spoilers. So here we are. Yeah, the sharkers aren't included yet, so that's why. Does that answer the question? Oh my god. Oh, but that's what I mean. Like, you know, you have to be careful. You can break things in here, just like in a real aircraft. Again, that's something I would not mess about with in a real aircraft ever. The FPS performance is comparable. They're pretty much the same. I don't see a huge issue. But again, you can set certain things here in the FENIX regarding how you want your displays, for example, being rendered. You can do that on the GPU, you can do it on the CPU, or you can do it on the iGPU, so the mainboard GPU, if you have that. And that will have an impact on your performance overall. So, you know, I can't speak for everyone regarding their FPS performance. Good, let's continue our diff rips. You see now, typical, I've been kind of distracted, and I'm going to think, okay, where was I? So, diff rips, init A page filled out. Init B page almost filled out. I just need to change the alternate and time on that. So if I go back to, right, boarding is going on. If I go back to the flight plan, I can see that the alternate is split, and we need 1.3 tons of fuel. So let me just change that value here. So that way we're going to have a more accurate fuel on arrival. Now departure, I don't have that yet. Although let me try something. Now this is something I have to admit I've not tried before. So that's a preliminary again. So the ATIS is uniform, and we have wind 320 at 17, gust 28. Quite windy day in Vienna. More than 10 kilometers. QNH 1017. Temperature is 21, and that's information uniform. So let's do uniform in here. The gate number, I have no idea. Where am I? Now normally I would know, but Foxtrot 22. There we go. So Fox 22. And the station is supposed to be Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey. Actually, that's correct. You know what? That is actually the MCDU on the AOC pages. They are linked, yeah. So if you have the AOC open on both sides, then it will update. That is actually correct. But what you can do, obviously, is you can put this to flight plan page, and that's it. And then it doesn't sync up. Yeah, Toto explained that perfectly right now. There we go. Thanks, Toto. So, clearance requests receive standby. There we go. What else? Questions. Just try the FS Labs and it does indeed model the whiskey compass. Does it really, Luke? Okay, thanks for trying it out. GG's. Again, I've never seen that in the real aircraft. I will next time I will make a video on that in the real aircraft to see how it behaves. There we go. Look at that. We've got depart request status. We've got the request being processed standby. We've closed that. And then we've got the PDC cleared. to Dubrovnik via Steintree Charlie. Next page, runway 29, climb 5,000 feet and squawk 4620, connection 1017, report ready on 122.125. So Wilco send. Now that changed to green. That's now received by ATC. Fantastic. Cool. Nice. So 5,000 feet. Put that in there. That's in there. And the squawk was... let me go to ATC com again. So if you're missing the messages, just go to... Hold on. Well, that's not quite correct. I would need to get into... So this is the BA British Airways menu, it seems, which I don't use. So there we go. So now we found it. Message record. So that's where you have your messages. It's different on our system. So that's, forgive me for actually having to search for this. So here we go. So there's the clearance, the complete clearance. So we are cleared via the runway 29. So departure 29. Hey Felipe, how you doing? Yeah, I know. So Felipe, I know a lot of people have commented on that. And I know that, there are certain things that are really important to some people, including sounds, fongs, and so on. They have acknowledged it. However, they have said that changing that would obviously require a lot of programming. And at the moment, they're trying to get the aircraft into a good state to publish without breaking everything again by going into the systems and changing these things. So I'm not a programmer. I'm just quoting here. So they are aware of it, and they know the customers. A lot of customers don't like this, the size of the fongs, or but a lot of people will not even notice or not care. So it's hard to please everyone. So there we go. Steintree Charlie. Climb 5,000, and the squawk is 4620. Let's put that in here. 4620. Out reporting on. That is on standby. That is on above. Cool. Excellent. So for the arrival, what we can do here now, just quickly look at the weather. So weather brief. It says for Dubrovnik, we're expecting 270 at 8. So let's have a look at what they have to offer there. Arrival, and we'll do the ILS. Oh, shall we do circling? Oh yes, please. We'll do the circling in Dubrovnik. Yeah. We'll do that. We shall do the circling in Dubrovnik, of course. Why not? So let's go Navigraph real quickly. When's it releasing? I don't know. They haven't said, so I don't know. Also, as a beta tester, guys, as a beta tester, I am, as a beta tester, not in an inner circle. So all I do is I test the versions that they give us beta testers, and that's it. And so if there's any bugs that I may find, or if there's anything I think should be better regarding flight behaviors, etc., I will tell them. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I don't know about things like, I didn't know about pricing, or I didn't know about, now I even don't know about the release date, etc., etc. So, oh, import from Simbri first of all. So let's have a look. There we go. So there we go. So there we've taken off. That's our routing down to Vienna, down to Dubrovnik. Cool. So we are departing. Let's do the sit first of all. So Stein departure 3 Charlie. There it is. Let's highlight that. So Stein 3 Charlie up 5,000 feet. The rest we'll check in a minute. I want to go ahead and look at the ground charts. So let's do some charts here. Airport first of all. That's something I want to see. There we are on the north side. Parking stands as well. There we go. And for the arrival, let's go back again. Let's do Dubrovnik. Amir, hey, there he is. So Amir, big round of applause. Thanks for hopping in. So if you have any questions, Amir here, the developer owner, he will be happy to answer the questions that he wants to answer. He was not going to answer all of them, but FENIX when first question. I'm not going to comment on that at all. Right, so we've got Star. We're going to do the. Let's see, that was going to be the Nera. So via Nera arrival, and I was going to have a look at the approach though. Guys, cool down, jeez. So what we're going to do, we're going to fly the circling approach, runway 29, and we can do that by using the fix info page later on. There's obviously a visual approach as well we can fly. Well, we've got lots of options, to be honest. Right, there we go. Yeah, we've got lots of people asking things. So I'm not sure if Amir wants to answer, if he can answer questions here, guys. Where does one buy Microsoft Flight Sim? There's two options. You have either the Microsoft Store, or you have the option to buy it through Steam. Yes, you can. So the APU has its own fuel pump. So that's why you don't need to have the fuel pumps on for the APU start, or having the APU running. Contrary to the 737, obviously, where you should have the forward pump, left forward pump running. So let's do the approach then via PLAP. So we're going to take the Zulu, and we'll do the Star. That's one. Oh, boarding is complete. Thank you. Where can we get? There it is. So that's going to be the Nera to Zulu arrival. That's what I wanted to know. Do we have RMP for circling like company FMS overlay? It all depends on whether or not Navigraph has it. And I know that there are a couple of airports where Navigraph does supply RMP visual approaches or the overlay approaches, but there's not many. So if if Navigraph database doesn't have it, then of course you can't have it in here either. Is icing a realistic model? That's a good question. Yeah, so Amir, if you are, there was one question regarding autopilot disconnect sound. I didn't know that there was an issue with it, but there we go. So via PLAP. Good, so diffrips, data, init A page, flight plan page, checking that we have that inserted, including the arrival and the approach. That's all in. RATNAV for departure, obviously, it's going to be the Stein 3 Charlie departure. So now what we can do here is go back to the page here. Let's do, actually no, let's go here. And if you wanted to, you could go obviously with go to clipboard and then just go to your charts here. You can have day and night charts, so you can actually have that dark, so at night time, which is quite nice. Yeah, I'll talk about the abnormals, guys. Look, I've got so much stuff. I can literally show you. I can spend days showing you all kinds of stuff. I've prepared, so over the time of the last 5 years, streaming, you know, the FS Labs a lot, etc. I've made so many files, and I don't want to show off anything like that, but I can obviously give you. And just go ahead and do AirPlay screen mirroring. There we go. I can show you guys so many things. Just give you a little example. So need to connect. There we go. So yeah, for example, hydraulic systems, right? So what's supplied by what? 2D, 3D approach procedures. Oh, today we could talk a little bit about the flight management guidance computers, how they are connected, what they do. You know, flight management guidance computer, what's their purpose, etc., etc. Again, I've got so much stuff in here. Speed definitions, you know, calibrated airspeed, equivalent, true airspeed, how's that all derived? FLS system, which the FENIX does offer. I can explain to you what the differences are between FLS system, RMP, RNF, etc., etc. Again, I can bore you guys to death easily. Yeah, but all in good time. So all I can do is like make advertisement for my channel. So you know, when I'm streaming once or twice a week. So check in. Just you know, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you don't miss any updates. Well, I don't know. Well, normally I would say there's certain things that are automated regarding boarding process, etc. But you know, like in real life, I mean, you as the captain or the first officer, whoever is in the flight deck, you would be in charge of, hey, Nictive, in you know, making sure that you know, fueling is finished, or if you do boarding while fueling, you know, follow all the limitations and all the regulations. But normally, nothing, you know, the boarding doesn't happen automatically normally. Let me just check the routing here. So 29, climb 291, track 1000, left turn, Whiskey 296, 375, 370, and then 405 Stein, 5000 we said. 134,675 is going to be the departure frequency. It actually has that, 134,675. Right, some more questions. Is there anything concerning flows that one would have to adapt coming from the FS Labs? Aaron, that's a very good question. I would say no, because like I said, obviously there are certain things that are a little bit different regarding the ATSU or the AOC and the EFB. But you get used to that very quickly. But everything else regarding the FMS and the autopilot setup, that's all, you know, normal A320 flows. So that's pretty much, you know, the same. That has not changed really. So RATNAV, it's an RNAV departure. We don't need to set anything, but you can set, if you wanted to, for example, fisherman is Fox Mike Delta for a return. There we go. Good, so now diff RATNAV, then we go in a D page. That's already pretty much filled out, although what's missing is the wind data. So let me just load that. Features of the radios. I'm not sure what you mean with the features of the radios. I mean, again, I can show you guys lots of stuff in flight. Let's just get going, because again, I want to start getting flying. 1.5 hours already into the stream. Good. So next thing's going to be P for performance. So obviously we have a performance calculator. Departure and arrival. So takeoff and landing performance. You can actually sync your load sheet. That's the final. Takeoff weight 66 tons. You can actually sync live weather as well, which is absolutely brilliant. If you wanted to, you know, if you think, well, maybe you want to adapt for the temperature being a little bit higher. Oh, I've synced it, that's why. Okay. But here, if you have that option, I mean, you can really quickly recalculate, so I'll just go with that. Intersection data, so important today, because we are going to be able to do an intersection takeoff. So let's just have a look which ones come to mind. And hey, Florian, how you doing? So taxing out Alpha 3, I think, because we're going to be taxing by whiskey. So Alpha 3 would be a good intersection for that. So let's have a look. Alpha 3, don't have it. Oh, hang on, 29. Disregard. Pull back. So 29. That did not sync up automatically, obviously. So let's try again. There we go. Alpha 3. We'll select that. And then we'll calculate that. How's the overall impression compared to the FS Labs? Thomas, again, it would not be fair, since the FENIX at the moment is still in a pre-release state. It's not finished. And even after release, the team will continuously work on improving, you know, whatever is still in need of improving. So, but I can definitely say my expectations as things go, you know, further on in the future. In my opinion, it will surpass the FS Labs. But I'm not going to compare on, you know, one add-on being completely finished, the other one still being in the release candidate state, preview state. I'm glad MCK and Bruno are here, because questions like what MSN and what database the Honeywell has, or the Thales has, yeah, it's actually Thales. So I'm glad they can answer that for me, because I would not know that off the top of my head there. Hey Maggers, nice to see you. Wie geht's dir? Simbit World, sorry for the late call out as well. Simbit World, thank you so much as well to you, my dear friend, for becoming a member. I'm very sorry for the chaos here that's going on, and for me missing these call outs sometimes. So Simbit World, thank you so much for your support. Thrust reduction, acceleration, that's something I do want to change or check, because I have my own database, but you don't have to. You can take whatever it gives you there. But I have for Vienna, I have NADP 2. Actually, no, 1660. That's fine. Disregard. 1600, and the engine out, however, is going to be 2100. The rest I will take as we have here. It gives you the takeoff shift, which is very nice, very convenient. So 300 meters shift. And 66 flex temperature. Then we've got flaps 1, the trim is down 0.1. 0.1, put that in there. So 2,100 engine out acceleration altitude. Put that in there. Alex, hello to you. How are you doing? And the speeds are 149, 149, and 151. Transition 10,000. That's all done. So that's the P difference. The second or the last thing to do is secondary flight plan, copy active. and then do a return plan in case anything goes wrong and we need to return quickly. Landing runway is going to be 34, so I'm just going to do a quick ILS on the secondary regarding 34 with no star and no buyer. And you can see that in white here on the nav display. And then,
Autopilot.
hey, pilot SKCX.
Autopilot.
Thank you so much. Pilots, SKCX, big shout out. Also a streamer on Twitch. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for the $5. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing good. Nice to see you. So one question was regarding fixed info. Yes, it does have it. So what do I put in here? I use the engine up procedure. It's going to be 7.4 from Fisherman and then left turn to Bravo Kilo. So we're going to take first of all the extended center line, 29. Radial is obviously 292. And then we want Fox Mike Delta, Fisherman. I'm going to put 7 miles so I know that I need to turn just after that. And then we go Bravo Romeo Kilo in here. 408, there we go. So now we have the engine up procedure. That's on the final 29, but I'm going to fly 3-4. So that's what we do in real life, just as preparation regarding you know, anything that needs a quick return. Right, and just to recheck the ATIS one more time, uniform and 21 degrees, 1017. Yeah, before I forget, big shout out to Kleptrick, one of our dearest community members, an ATC controller on VATSIM. He organized the control here today. So all the controllers here in Vienna today, they normally don't come online on Mondays, I think. Oh, hang on, it's Tuesday today, isn't it? No, sorry, Tuesday. And yeah, they came on just for us today. So big thank you, big shout out to them. No, so Hannah, no, these are the EIS2 versions. So these are actually, let me just see something. These are the LCDs, obviously, and not the cathode ray tubes. I actually made a video, a very short video on my channel. I shared that yesterday. The sound difference between the EIS1 and the EIS2 and why I don't like the EIS1s. Let me just find it and maybe I can show you guys it here quickly. There we go. Download that really quickly. Right, I have to be careful now. I know Amia's going to be getting nervous if I say I'm going to start Discord. So I'm going to put the pause screen on. And I promise I close Discord immediately again. Hey, hang on, big chest. Oh my god, hold on. Where was the download here? So Discord is closed again. And let me find that file now, downloads. Okay, so
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Chester, thank you so much. I hope everything's good with Uni family. Thank you so much for the €5. Love that you chose Vienna and the Austrian to showcase the FENIX. Shout out to Ami and his team. Very much looking forward. Yes, so Chester, why did I choose Vienna? Well, of course, I'm very fond of the Austrian VATSIM controllers and their professional attitude here. And of course, I also wanted to show off the PDC, which worked perfectly. Cool, so this is EIS-1, as you may see. And so this video is a very short video, and it shows the sound difference between EIS-1 and EIS-2. So, hope it's not too loud. Hang on. So that's EIS-2. Again, EIS-1. EIS-2. All right, big difference, right? So the reason behind that, obviously, is the cooling requirements of the EIS-1 is, you know, just a lot larger than with the LCD screens, and yeah, literally soundproofing. So that's different. I can tell you, I was sitting in a old A321 yesterday with EIS-1s, and we sat there for 2 hours on the ground, and it was so loud, and I don't know, it just increases your stress level, you know, unnecessarily. So hence I don't know why some people want to have the EIS-1 simulated. I don't understand it. I don't want it. Thank you. So big shout again to Meg Chester. Thanks so much again. Cool, we finished our preparations, guys, finally. So let's have a look. So we are in an A320 with wingtip fences, CFM engines, and there's no technical issues right now. Fuel, 6.4 tons. We ordered 6.5, but because I've been talking so much, the APU has burned 100 kilograms right now. So, our station already probably... Hang on, what? You got plane's extended warranty. Hang on. Who was that? That's the final load sheet. So, that reminds me, final figures, 59.8, a little bit lighter than expected, and 147 passengers. And then we've got 30.7 on the CG. And then we've got you guys. Like, seriously. So the trim was down 0.1, and if you look at the CG of 29% here, yeah, you can see it's back down. It's just a little bit down below 0, so down 0.1 is confirmed. So the takeoff weight is... thank you much, whoever wishes me a safe flight. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. Takeoff weight is obviously 68.1 tons or 66 tons. We did the calculations for it. Intersection Alpha 3, runway 29, shift is in. We've got flex 66, flaps 1 departure, and the speed's 49. Hey, Silent Hunter, how you doing? 49, 51, transition 10,000, LDDU 2, engine out is 2,100. Departure route is checked according to the Stein 3 Charlie departure out of runway 29. I'm just going to check it with my SimBrief. That's in Toolkit Pro here. Because you know, since it's an hour of departure, you do want to make sure that you have the right departure route inserted, and you have the correct waypoints showing as well. So we'll check the waypoints. It's 291 to 1,000 feet. Then we turn left Whiskey 296, 375, 370, 405, and then to Stein. There we go. So that's the correct procedure. We're climbing up 5,000 feet on Kinich 1017. And in case of engine failure, we'll go straight out 7.4 Fisherman, left turn, Bravo Romeo Kilo. Engine acceleration
Good
is
night,
in 2,100
Black
feet. Good night to MCK. Yeah, MCK also streaming the FENIX on Thursday, isn't it? MCK. Big shout out to him. On Twitch, that is, I think. As Silent Hunter, so if I'm doing that in real life, you mean the smart briefings, for example? Whenever they're implemented in my real world flying, then I will do that here as well. But I'm not going to do, you know, two different variations. Good. So take performance, engine out procedure, RTO. We have a stop margin, so we'll abort takeoff until V1, 149 knots. Aircraft not controllable, ATC call, thrust loss, or any cautions, warnings coming through the inhibition phase. Cool. So we were told to contact. It's been such a long time ago. Contact when ready. Contact 122 125. And let's see, the volume hopefully is fine. Do I have that correctly mapped? No. Hold on. Control options.
Station calling 617 again.
So,
Ryan
joystick.
616, contact call 121.775.
Oh, that I have to do that in vPilot, don't I? Settings. Push to talk.
I get a delivery, EasyJet 330, my check.
Easy 220, wind delivery service 325.
So also want to check my volume of the microphone. Always do that, please. So, you know, just do a normal talking mic volume and make sure it doesn't overpower
Easy 220, information
into the red
is
area.
current, you're cleared Krakow via the Coxa 1 Delta departure route, climb initially 5000, please go 4615.
Is that loud enough, guys? ATC now? Hey, Gabriel, good evening.
Fetching information sector by the Coxa 1 Delta departure, line 5000, squawk 4615, EasyJet 320.
Easy 220, read back correct, airport and ready for push and start.
All port ready for push and start, EasyJet 320.
Yeah, delivery, Abent, Austrian 7, we're not finally ready, and we are, yeah, we've got the PDC GNH 1017.
Austrian 711, the delivery service Victor current, now contact ground 121.775.
121.775, vielen Dank, schönen Abend from Austrian 711.
Tschüss.
And EasyJet 320, could you just confirm the runway we're going to depart off?
And 550 Mike, seat 180.
Prefer FENIX over the TOLIS? Well, yes, of course. I mean, the TOLIS doesn't give me that kind of immersion that I get here in the FENIX. So, for me personally, you know, using different sims, it is about immersion. That simple as that. So TOLIS is definitely not giving me the same level. Which costs an simulated? Well, I mean, I've put in 18, so it is two digit, right? Flight factor increase the FPS. I'll have to check flight factor then again at some point. Do you get fast slow revisions if the ADARs are all offline? Yes, you should get. Yeah, you should have that. Yeah. You mean the bus backup speed scale? That's what you mean, right? Yeah, it should be implemented. On what levels the FENIX like aerosol? Oh, more like FS Labs. Absolutely. Well, that's an easy answer. Looking for a majority of add-ons. They usually have problems with LNAV, different type of visual export. Okay, well, I mean, VChris, so Bullet, just watch the stream and see how it goes. It's not, I don't think it's perfect in every regard because some procedures are quite complicated. So there we go. Is there an option for SATCOMs? Well, I mean, It has, I don't know how much it's simulated, but it does have obviously a antenna, Wi-Fi antenna. It's not shown here, but I don't know. Satcom, I have not looked into that. So yeah, Airbus fan, what I can show you later, I could fail an MCDU by either going through the failures here in the config. So manual failures. Now, if you're one of those people like me that love failures, you could do random failures. There's so much stuff you could do here. So you know, minor, major, all realistic rate or high failure rate, random trigger. There's so much stuff you can do. For me, that's an El Dorado. 775.
Vielen Dank. Cleared Bala 3 November transition.
So definitely, yeah, lots of stuff to do. Failures, so random failures again, and manual failures. You have so many options. We can go through these at some point as well. Don't worry. Oh, you're right. Speed brakes. Yeah. Thanks for the tip. Thanks.
Taxi 9 Foxtrot requesting taxi clearance.
Cool. Is it possible to change the right input volume of the VHF knobs? Hang on.
Taxi to runway 29.
No, that's not linked to like an X-plane, no. What about shared cockpit?
1255, connect tower 119.4.
Here we don't have it yet, so I don't know what the plans are. If there's going to be external app at some point. Can you download? That's a question for Amir or somebody else. Can you download PDFs into the EFB? I've not done that yet. Yeah, Ali, that would be cool. I agree. Companies don't use DC just no. So for us, there are certain things that we do interact with the DCDU. So for example, when we get, you know, for example, ATC could send us a message saying, request your, what's your requested flight level or preferred flight level. Then we can manipulate it through the MCDU, transfer it, and then send it off again through DCDU. So it depends on the software that certain airlines use. Is there going to be a tutorial series for the FENIX? Emre, what do you need? Or Chemra, what do you need for the tutorials? Why are you not flying? I am almost flying. Is it a bug that a flight is set to auto-reloading after landing? So some other streams, speed heading with no proper flights after landing. I would need to look at that. FS Labs or FENIX? No comment at the moment. Good. I think that's pretty much all the questions. Oh no. Do you have Jefferson charts? No, I don't. How big? So my company, you mean? No, my company doesn't have. No, we have Lido charts. How big the difference is allowed to be? Well, it depends on with regards to the OFP or the LMC. So LMC for us would have been 300 kilograms.
119.4.
But of course, I mean, you would have to recalculate if it's heavier than what you had prior. So we would normally add 300 kilograms on the initial expected takeoff weight so that we have a bit of buffer. But whenever you have the actual takeoff weight obviously above your planned, you would need to recalculate your performance for takeoff. Yeah, so at the moment, no. So these, the margins, no, you don't have any margin info regarding, like the FS Labs has. But to be honest, that's difficult data, or data difficult to come by. So. Can the thrust diffuser shift it through detents? Well, I wouldn't know why not. There we go. Yeah, so this is the keyboard now, yeah. So there we go. Yeah, you can use the keyboard to go through the different stages, yeah, absolutely. Finally, we are ready. Let's start everything here. Let's do the items for departure. So park and brake is set. Remove ground power units. And we will use the pushback. That comes with the sim. So before start checklist, cockpit prep completed, signs are on an auto, fuel quantity is 6,370 kilograms, altimeters 1017 at 590 feet, down to the line, below the line, windows, doors, and actually here, so I messed about with the window, closed, 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 and this door, that's actually, you can open that, look in the cabin, so you might as well check that's closed. Well, actually you can have a look at the panel here as well. Then we've got the beacon on, thrust levels idle, and the park and brake is on.
255 Lima, push and start is moved to line.
Ground hello, Austrian 711 stand is Fox 22 request push please.
711 Nadine ground 7 behind the traffic past you, push and start is moved.
Behind the traffic passing by, push start approved, Austrian 711. What traffic? Oh, there we go. So what I'm going to do now, actually I'm going to connect my iPad. So you can connect your iPad with a browser with the EFB here.
84 whiskey, Cockpit.
And that way I can actually nicely do the pushback. So I can use those while I'm in the outside views. So turbo connected, release park and brake, brakes released.
You're going to be ready for taxi?
And then all I'm going to do magically is use my iPad to start the pushback.
Water taxi 3, holding point 3, 45 exit 7, Mike and Echo,
Now he didn't say that we need to use blue line or anything like that, so we could just go and push onto the yellow line, the middle line.
Zero Mike, Foxtrot 1-2 bei der Orange Line. Foxtrot 1-2 bei Orange Line aus dem Zero Mike. Oh. 616, contact tower, 119 is vorbei. Tower, 119 is vorbei. 119 is vorbei, danke auch für den Trade.
Actually, let's just make sure that we start the engines. So fuel pumps are on, we've got APU bleed on, and let's do engine start real quickly. Good pressure, engine to start. Oh, turn.
Now, Zero Mike, make it new gate Fox 260. Foxtrot 26 and confirm also by Orange Line of the Zero Mike. Fox Zero Mike, blue line is fine. Blue line of the Zero Mike, danke dir.
So park brake is set, you may disconnect.
DC22, standby. DC220 Bravo 10 is approved.
Easy to do 0, say again.
DC220 intersection Bravo 4 is approved.
Intersection Bravo 4 is approved. Easy to 220 report.
Taxi 84 Whiskey, contact tower 119.4, bye bye.
Good, engine start on 2, let's start engine 1.
Vienna ground, good afternoon. Transavia 5.5 Mike Ben 7378.
Busy airport again. Fantastic.
Transavia 5 Alpha Mike, Wien ground, service taxi to 1.29
Which I'm not eating. I don't have anything to eat.
That's the point. Remember, yeah, 29 Navarro Whiskey Mike, Transavia 5.5 Mike.
Ocean 255 Lima requesting taxi. Ocean 255 Lima, stand by. Stand by, Ocean 255 Lima.
Is that the guy behind me? I'm sorry. So there we go, good engine start. Let's do the after start flows real quickly. That's 0.
E52, confirm you want us holding you short at Bravo 4?
Flaps 1, trim down.
I see 220 negative, taxi
Let's do the flag control check.
Bravo 10
So we got full up, full down, neutral.
Apologies,
full
Bravo
left,
10 is approved
full
by
right,
Echo, easy
neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. After start checklist, anti-ice is sort of not required. Ecam status is checked, and the trim is at 29.5% set 0 after start checklist completed. Austrian 711 request taxi.
Austrian 711 taxi to 1.29 by Whiskey and Mike.
Whiskey Mike holding point 29, Austrian 711. So, clear left side, clear right side, and let's go.
255 Lima, follow the company Airbus A320 to 1.29 by Whiskey and Mike. Follow company, go to 1.29 Whiskey and Mike, Transavia 5 on Alpha Mike, contact tower 119.
On brake check. Brakes are working.
Tower 119, that's also Transavia 5.5 Mike.
220, contact tower 123, decimal 8, bye bye.
On to 3 decimal 8, have a good day, 020.
So Whiskey is going to be on the outside, just past the apron, the first one to the right. And then Mike is the parallel taxiway for runway 29. So here comes Whiskey. Gonna follow that. How's taxing? I find it fine. It's not as sensitive as the PMDG. That's not modeled yet. So before take a checklist, flag controls checked. Flap setting is check here. 1 plus F, speeds flex 149, 149, 151, and the flex is 66. ECAM memo takeoff no blue, and that's down to the line.
711 contact tower 119.4, ciao.
19.4, vielen Dank euch, die Austrian 711, ciao. Oh, you're right, why didn't it sync up? I did press sync up, didn't I? So 19.4. We'll slow down a bit here. 19.
Captain 999, nothing further, Unicom 128, bye bye.
And let me know that we're able Alpha 3. Wien Tower Nabend, the Austrian 711 is approaching Mike, able Alpha 3.
711 is solo, continue Alpha 3.
Alpha 3 holding point 29, Austrian 711. Good. So, left side clear, right. Oh, it's busy. Where did you buy the FENIX? No, I'm a tester. I'm a beta tester. So this is a release candidate. It's not the final version.
Runway 29 cleared for takeoff, the Austrian 138.
But since I'm a beta tester, I'm allowed to stream it.
255 Lima wind tower, break break, Lux 8 for weekly contact wind radar, 134.675.
VIP, yeah.
134.675, Lux 8 for whiskey, bye.
Let's just stop here.
2 kilometers.
Good, so we are at the holding point, so the shift is correct.
Then 2 kilo,
So there we go. So 1,000 feet left turn. Now the airport elevation is 600 feet, so it's pretty much 400 feet above the ground. I'm a bit worried that the windsock is showing tailwind. 330, 17. No, so that should be fine.
Avia 5 on Alpha Mike, Nana Bevet, Avia 2 now.
The ATIS says...
runway 29, that comes Avia 5 on Alpha Mike.
360 at 16, so... Yeah, that windsock's definitely not showing the right wind. Hey, Spinsicle, how you doing?
Contact wind radar, front frequency 134.675.
So he's doing lineup there.
134.675, Austin 13, thank you. 2 kilo wind 010 degrees, 20 knots, runway 34, clear the land.
Yeah, it looks like it, Paul, yeah. It does look like that. They are wonky, yeah they are.
220, confirm squawking mode, Charlie.
Apologies about that very idiotic move, but we're now doing squawk mode Charlie to get you there.
220, thank you, contact wind radar, 134.6.
Nobody saw that.
Okay, 134.675.
Man, I did that on my last rotation. I did that thing.
Avia 5 on Alpha Mike.
I think I missed that 3 times, man. It's not on the checklist, so it's so easy to miss.
7 behind departing Transavia, 0.737, line up and wait, runway 29 behind.
Behind departing Transavia 737, runway 29, line up and wait behind.
Wind tower, Los Santos, Nana Manhattan, still 5,000 on runway 6.
TCAS. So he's departing. Let's do the lineup.
To radar over like 2 minutes ago, contact Navin radar, 134.675.
Sorry, my mistake.
Oh, am I going to record tutorials? Yeah, I will definitely do some more tutorials again. So I'm hoping that the FENIX will rekindle my love for making videos again, because I have more options. Hey Geeb, how you doing? Geeb, I'm sorry I missed your question on my channel, on my Discord channel. I'll go try and answer it in a minute. Hang on. Can you change the weather status to rain? No, so we're currently on VATSIM. So I am not going to be able to change weather at the moment. Yes, of course. Core flights, I definitely. So in real life, doing the brake check, you would do that very, very gently. Yes, of course. Absolutely.
711 wind 010 degrees, 16 knots, runway 29 cleared for takeoff.
Runway 29 cleared takeoff, Austrian 711. Good, I'll be ready.
255 Lima behind departing company, A320, line up and wait,
let's go.
Behind.
Chrono started. Matches due to rain on that display. Takeoff. Manflex 66 SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. 100 knots. V1 rotates. Pause rate, gear up. NAF. So 1,000 feet, left we go. Does need about 30-degree bang.
255 Lima wind 010 degrees, 20 knots, runway 29 cleared for takeoff.
Thrust climb out blue auto thrust. It's a really tight turn.
711 contact the wind radar, 134.675, ciao, schönen Flug noch.
134.675, vielen Dank für euch für den Service, die Austrian 711. Ciao, danke. Good. Let's do autopilot 1. Get some workload reduction. 34675. Here comes S-speed. Flap 0. Let's check flap 0.
Unicom, thank you very much for the ATC. Keep it up, 850.
Come on, flap.
Lufthansa 1 Alpha 10, right heading 160. Right heading 160, Lufthansa 9 1.
Wow, I was...
left heading 070.
I was clicked out the window there. Oh my god. Trying to find the volume level. There we go. Servus, Wien departure from Austrian 711. We're passing 3,500, climbing 5,000.
Austrian 711, hello, radar contact, climb flight level 230 out of 6,000 at Stein.
Climbing 230 out of 6,000 feet, Stein. Dankeschön, die Austrian 711. So we'll go direct Stein. There we go.
In radar, the Austrian 255, switch you. In 255 Lima, hello, radar contact 3,300 feet, climb flight level 120.
6,000 feet. Insert. Direct to Stein. White. Well.
Turns Avia 51 Alpha Mike 10, right heading 290.
Domi, the thing is that there are some versions, some variants where you actually can have the the lateral deviation bar indicating. We don't have it ourselves, so I don't know which companies use that. But it's an option that I think you can actually change in here as well, if you want to. Let's see if it's here or if it's in the... So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. You can get rid of that. If that's, yeah, just get rid of it if you don't like it. One thing that strikes me, I know that, you know, there's going to be flight simmers that don't care about the visuals that much. They care more about, you know, the system depth, etc. But for me, sounds and, you know, textures, looks is definitely something I need for immersion. And here, look at the windshield. You can see the dirt in here as well. That's really cool. And this side.
Nothing further. Unicom 128. Bye bye.
128. Bye. Dankeschön.
And here you don't have that roar from the fan. You just have the exhaust sound. Really nice. Cool. We passed transition. Here comes standard checked. Oh, hang on. Didn't I link them? I thought I linked them. Hold on. So aircraft config. Link. There we go. Linked. Save as default. There we go. So now it should be linked. If I do that again. Yeah, correct. Nice.
255 Lima, direct route bed, climb flight
10,000 foot. Items, obviously, a couple things to do.
Group 240.
Pitch is below 7 or below 7.5 degrees. 7 degrees is fine. That could go off as well. And so seatbelts off. And then we'll go. Oh yeah, by the way, if you go seatbelts off.
Approach Vizer 2342 at 4,000.
It does switch the seatbelts off.
Vizer 2342, hello, radar contact, climb flight level 240. Climb flight level 240, Vizer 2342.
Hey Christian, how you doing?
Lufthansa 1 Alpha, this in 3,000 feet.
Abnobs is pending. It seals the deal for me. Christian, okay, so what abnormals are you looking for? All of them, or, you know, I can play around a little bit in a minute once we get a little bit higher up. Hey Bob, how you doing? So we go secondary flight plan, copy active. Then we go fix info. We'll delete all the infos there, or clear actually I should say. Clear all the infos in here. And RatNav clear as well. And that's it. That's all the items done. We're good to go. No, Gabriel, all fine. You know, you guys want to see that? I'll give you that. Here's sun visor. That's what it looks like. Can you do a barrel? Are you doing a buddy now? Well, no.
Bye-bye.
No, I can't.
Lufthansa 9 Alpha, right heading 250. Right heading 250, Lufthansa 9 Alpha.
So further questions we have. Zephyr, since you set the performance page for Alpha 3, what's the controller told you another... Okay, yeah, so... No, so what we would do, think of it logically. So let's say, for example, the controller gave us... let me just pull up the ground chart again. So let's say the controller gave us, you know, Alpha 1. Let's say Alpha 2. She said, no taxi, Mike Alpha 2, hold short. Then we actually have more buffer. So you have two options. You could leave the performance data as is.
711 für ATC, monitor Unicom 1 to 2.8, servus.
1 to 2.8. Vielen Dank euch from Austrian 7. Und macht's gut, schönen Abend.
Ciao. Lufthansa 9 Alpha, right heading 310, cleared LS 34. Right heading 310, cleared LS 34, Lufthansa 9 Alpha. Booking 255 Lima, nothing further, Unicom 1 to 2.8, goodbye.
The flickering of the shadows, well, I mean, that's more Microsoft thing, Airbus fan. That's not in the hands. That's not in the hands of the FENIX, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, that's FMS. That's a Microsoft flight sim. Good. So, what you would need to do, however, you would need to change the shift, obviously the shift value. So what you can do, obviously, here is go to performance, and you would just simply then go and do Alpha 2. I mean, you can actually recalculate really quickly, and there you have the new shift value. But I would just leave the speeds and flex as is. I mean, you can change it if you have some time, but you're not going to run into any danger because you have obviously more stop margin, right? So the other way around, of course, if you have less takeoff run available because you're getting, let's say, the controller asks you, are you able Alpha 4? Then you would have to recalculate, obviously, just to make sure that you are actually able to do so. And then it will change, the speed configuration as well. So if I go performance and calculate from Alpha 4, different shift, and of course you get lower speeds, right? So a lower V2 speed, VR, and V2 speed. That's quite logical as well. Yeah, so the takeoff shift simply means the distance you cut off from your takeoff run. So for example, if we departed Alpha 3, so we discounted that first part of the runway because we didn't take off from full length. So that's 300 meters. So that's what is called takeoff shift, because it's shifting away from the full takeoff length. Right, 230. Now we did file 350. Oops, let's go 350. So we've got thrust climb, out blue 350. And here we have the equi-time point. The equi-time point, normally we don't really play around with that, unless of course we have you know, a longer flight and maybe a longer portion over water, or maybe we have a longer portion where we don't have you know, as many airports around us that we can quickly divert to. And with the equitime point, you get through data, equitime point, you can actually do all kinds of stuff. You can take 2 waypoints, you can take 2 airports, and then have the FMS calculate the equitime point between those 2 points. So at the moment, by default, it always puts the departure airport and your destination airport. It's a quite a neat feature because it will calculate approximately the correct position of the equitime point for you. Yes, so TomTom normally what that is required for the takeoff shift is it does a position update when you put the thrust levers to the MCT flex notch or the toga notch. So prior to the GPS updating, that was quite important. And now with GPS updating, obviously not so much. My, these views. And the bass rumble, nice. Yeah, so Sek, I'm not sure if Amir is still listening, but I know the dev team is aware of that. And that's one thing I would love to have as well, is have these streams pop out. Yeah, hey Ruben. So the thing is, for me, you know, obviously, if the flight sims weren't modeled to this kind of depth, I would get bored with it quickly, and I would probably not, you know, stream it. So ever since the FS Labs came out, I kind of found, you know, a fascination for, you know, using these really in-depth simulators to teach anyone or demonstrate stuff that people are interested in. And again, you know, depending on the time that we have available today, we're getting a lot of questions, but I do try to fill, you know, the time in between, so in cruising level, with some good information. So I could, for example, go through. Oh, why is that not connected? Let me just see. Hold on. There we go. There we go, now it's connected. So I could go through things like, you know, the FLS system, right? What does it do, right? What does it stand for? And I already seen some streamers actually, well, using it the wrong way, not understanding fully what the FLS system is, which is no problem. I mean, you know, if you're not in contact with that in real life, you know, you would not know about this because it's a fairly new system in the Airbus. But yeah, the FENIX does have it. Same for the TOLIS 321, it has that as well. So that's why I actually made that file back then when I was using it in the TOLIS. But that's obviously valid here in the FENIX as well. You know, I can go through all this. I can tell you the procedure, what to look for at some stage. For today, however, I just want to give you a quick, brief overview of different approach capabilities the A320 has. So the absolute basic thing you can do, no, I don't think so, no. I think the FLS is different than the IAN. The IAN is pretty much the final approach mode here in the Airbus. So the FLS is, you know, without going too much detail right now, because it does take some time to explain, it simulates a virtual beam from the runway or actually from an anchor point. And the cool thing about the anchor point is it doesn't have to be at the runway. So you can actually do a lovely offset approach from a certain point on the final for the runway, but still have indications on your primary flight display that look pretty much the same as an ILS. Out. Yeah, okay, yeah, we've had that as well. That's Microsoft, isn't it? So it doesn't pop out the complete MCDU. Yeah, I know. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. But again, maybe on a second flight or third flight. So the second flight we're doing today is we're doing the flight from. Oh yeah, we're doing the flight from Sao Paulo to Rio Santos Dumont. That's the second flight today that we're doing. That reminds me, I didn't put that into the Nightbot. The flight time is not that long. It's about an hour 20, I think it was. So flight plan says the flight time was an hour 6 minutes. It's not that long. Yeah, so regarding approach capabilities, the most basic maneuver you can do is the visual approach. How much is it? It's 49.99 British pounds, which is about, what, 60 euros. That's what they have announced. So visual approach without flight directors, you know, manual flight, most probably manual thrust. That will be your basic, very basic maneuver. I've done one visual approach again not too long ago, last week, which was so much fun. And I really love doing those because you just look outside. You just switch everything off. You look outside and just, you know, do things with altitude, timing, and your visual cues. So that's really, really cool to do. Then, of course, you have, let's go from the most precise approaches. You have your automatic landings, so the Cat 3 and Cat 2 ILS approaches. These are, I wouldn't say boring, but I mean, you set up everything, make sure everything's indicating correctly, all the systems are working correctly, and then you just let the autopilot land the aircraft. Then you have your standard ILS Cat 1 approaches, and these are the approaches used 98% of the time, let's say, in the real world. Simply because ATC is able to you know, do a much more precise sequencing for the inbound aircraft, and the ILS is obviously the most reliable approach from pilot point of view regarding a successful landing. When you don't have an ILS approach available, then comes something that is a bit more complicated for, I would say, the average flight simmer. And the thing is, trying to choose your approach. So let's just get the weather for Dubrovnik right now. So let's pretend we are inbound, it's real world, and we are inbound to Dubrovnik. So let's get the arrival weather here. So the latest TAF at 1700 UTC says it's 270 at 7, Cav OK 22, and QNH 1015. So that means for us that we're gonna have to land on runway, let's see, on runway 28, I think it was, 29. Yeah, no, hang on. Disregard. That is still Vienna. Dubrovnik. No, actually, it's 29 then. Right. So we're gonna do the approach, and we're gonna have to land on runway 29. Now, if you look at the approach charts, you have only a circling 29. You have a visual approach 29, and you have something called a VOR alpha approach, but that is also a visual approach at the end. And you have something called an RNP runway 29 AR authorization required. And here we come into, well, into the regions of, well, is the aircraft actually certified to fly this approach? Are the pilots trained for this kind of approach, etc., etc. Okay, so yesterday, for example, people were commenting on the fuel flow. So, yeah, it's a big discussion, and Amir has actually commented officially on that yesterday, and he said the following. Because some streamers, I don't know who made the wrong comments, but he said, to be clear, it is not just a copy-paste of the default engine model. All right, so it's not. So they are using their own engine simulation, and it tries to simulate the CFM56 as accurately as possible. However, it still needs some refining. And sometimes the fuel flow is indicating correct, and sometimes it's not. So for me at the moment, that's obviously not quite correct. If I understood it correctly, now at the end, the fuel usage should still be as planned. But yeah, that's something people have commented on. But they're definitely seeing this, and they're definitely going to implement their own model at some point, but it's just going to take some time. Total, the thing is, it's all dependent. It doesn't do that all the time, so that's the thing. So yeah, 1200 per side would be correct for the CFM56. Yeah. Frank, you just have to answer. You have to ask the developers. I'm not a programmer. I don't know. I know that there's obviously some issues for the add-on makers to connect their aircraft and their own engine models, flight models, etc. There's a lot of you know, issues, and yeah, you're gonna have to ask the devs about this. So let me just let's do a fuel check. So Capri was one of the waypoints. Let's see, can we do a? Yeah, we can. So that was 3.7, and let's have a look. 3.7. So obviously that's going to be off. That was 4.8. We should have had. Hang on, that was 4.8, and that was at 22. So that was 6 minutes ago. So that was 18 minutes past. So we should have had 17 minutes. So the timing is all right. 19 minutes to 18 minutes, and it should have 3.7 plus. Hang on, plus the extra of about a ton. So actually, it's not far off. So a ton on top of that. So 4.7 is what we're supposed to have. So that was not too bad, but we'll see. We'll see what the end value says. Well, actually, you know, I would like to do the following. So on this flight, we'll do the circling, because I want to show the guys with the fixed info, etc., what you can do with it. And then on the second flight, we're going to fly to Santos Dumont, and there, obviously, we do have a lovely approach. Let's just show you that. What's that? X-ray or whiskey? I think it was a whiskey approach, wasn't it? There we go. So that's also a RMP AR approach. So I would like to do that because that's visually extremely appealing, really nice to do. And we'll do that here in the FENIX. See how that goes. Yeah, we have the lovely Ricardo. What's the last name? Ricardo. Scenery there. So that's really nice, lovely scenery. Yeah, so that's the second flight we're going to do. So what I would like to do now at Dubrovnik is I would like to fly the ILS approach 1-1. followed by that circling approach. Yeah, I know. That's why I want to have a look at how that approach goes. So let's go for the visual circling. So what I want to do is I want to program these waypoints into the fixed page. So let me call up the chart on my Sim Toolkit Pro, and then we can check, or I can show you how I'm programming this. So we do have a lot of viewers that maybe haven't seen my previous streams on how to do this in the A320. So here's the chart. Top of send. Oh, we have to hurry up a bit. So what you want to do is you want to go into the data second page, and you want to go into pilot waypoints. So we're going to delete all. And then I'm going to put this to Dubrovnik 01 as a name. Just use any name you like, just something that you can remember. Then we're going to put a place bearing distance. So the first leg that I would have programmed is this leg here, from Charlie Victor to the position where we start the downwind. So that's defined as place Charlie Victor / then we go to 157 degrees and 3.5 miles, so 3.5, and we put that in here. So we have to choose the right beacon, which is 397, and then store. So now we've programmed this waypoint here. Now we're going to use this waypoint, and from there use that waypoint to calculate or program the new leg. So new waypoint, I'm going to call this Delta Uniform Bravo 02. And now we're going to use the previous waypoint, and it is 114 degrees, and it has 3.3 nautical miles distance. So 114 with 3.3, now we've programmed this point there, and we store. No, Toto, that's really limited. One more thing I'm going to do then is program the 4.8 DE arcs, or let's put that's 5. So I'm going to put this to Dubrovnik, so actually a fixed page. So let's put Delta Bravo Kilo in here, and put a 5-mile radius around that. It doesn't do digits, so you have to put that as 5 miles. So now I've programmed this so that we don't overshoot that. So what I could do now, actually, I could go and go to waypoint 1 and just call up our waypoints, or the pilot waypoints. So Dubrovnik 01. Next page, Dubrovnik 02. Yeah, we have to descend shortly. And then Dubrovnik 03. Oh. Oh, no, that didn't have. So Golf Romeo is what I want to program. That's the beacon there. 414. There we go. Cool. One more thing to do is, since it's a non-precision approach, I do want to program in the threshold of the landing runway. So Dubrovnik 29, and that way I get a straightened distance always to that threshold and a bearing. Cool, that's it. That's all we need to do here. And let's get the latest weather. Do we have control there? No, we don't. Oops. Actually, let's have a look. MCDU, that's weather request. Let's go. Although, I mean, pretty much it's the same as the data that you receive through the EFB, really. I mean, you don't really need to go through that trouble. You could just literally just go to EFB onto that first page here, reload that. So that should be exactly the same. 280 at A211015. Yeah, it's the same one. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert that. Right, there we go. Well, the thing is, I don't want to, that's the thing, I don't want to punch that into the flight plan because it will be a unofficial procedure, if you like. You have to be careful with that. So what you could do is on a secondary, you could modify that there. So let's do the VUR, no, just the runway 29. So 29. So let's just do that and that. Let me see. Yeah, we need to send. Let's go down. Let's go and start the descent 200 or something. So descent out blue 200. Bravo 01. Nah. Oh. Just check again. 01. Put in there. Not allowed. Okay, that's interesting. Right. Hey, Captain Canada. Well, Toto, I'm not sure if you watch Mentor Pilot's channel. There was a interesting video last week where he talked about, was it in India or Colombia? I don't know exactly where it was, Pakistan or India, where the pilot captain actually programmed a circling procedure, but way outside the safety area. And he flew that in nav mode as well. Hey, Sim Caesar, nice to see you. So he's actually addressing something that's very critical, that whenever you do something like this, where you modify an approach, you just have to realize that if it's an official circling, so published by the company, like an overlay, FMS overlay, then you may use it with nav mode. If you do it yourself, then it's advisable not to do it in nav mode, but in track mode, for example. Yeah, normally, I mean, descent, you should initially descend a little bit earlier, I guess. I mean, it depends on your aircraft weight, the altitude, because yes, if it just goes straight from level flight into idle descent, it may speed up, depending on how sluggish the autopilot is. It may just go towards the top bar there regarding your bracket, or the speed bracket there, and then yeah, apparently there have been some instances where you could go into the overspeed regime, but yeah. Yeah, so the way I use it, obviously, you know, just being aware doesn't traffic be low as that. Let's have a look where he's going. 10 miles. It seems to be same direction, but a bit slower than me. Appears to be going left to right. So that should theoretically not be an issue for us. And he's level flight. Good. So again, this is a visual procedure, meaning you would either go manual flight and fly this simply by these tracks and radials. So for example, you would go outbound 157 bearing from that NEB, and you have a radial definition here from Dubrovnik, radial 227, to turn to the downwind leg. Then you have another turning point. It's going to be radial 157. Right, you have to track 114. And you would literally, you can use just simply those very basic infos to fly such an approach. And again, it's a visual approach. You're going to have to look outside, make sure you always keep the runway threshold inside, the terrain inside, and you visually make sure you don't fly into the terrain. All right. But all these things are there to help the pilots. And whenever you program something into the FMS as visual cues on your nav display, it's simply that. It's just a visual cue, right? It's not an official waypoint. And that means it's not an official procedure if you fly that with the autopilot. Manual flight in the Airbus? No, it's all fine. Good. So, yeah. We'll try to use those waypoints I've created to visually check, but our main focus will be those radials, so 227 and 157. So let me put in Dubrovnik, Delta Uniform Bravo in here. Is that 108? Hang on, was that 865? No, 15.4. So again, Dubrovnik. Oh, disregard. Delta Bravo Kilo. There we go. So now that's correct. And what you could do as well, I mean, you could do the following. You could do the Dubrovnik info there and just go radial 127. Sorry, 227. And you have another one that you can put in 157. So now actually we get a nice visual cue here as well. And again, all to help you make sure that you don't mess up the approach. What else do we need? We need Charlie Victor. And then you put that here. 397. And then we go to put the Golf Romeo beacon on this side. 414. So let's put that to ADF. Dubrovnik indicating, Charlie Victor indicating. Fantastic. No, so Luca, this is actually given to you by the chart. So you can see that for Charlie category aircraft, it's 2,170. So after the ILS or the localizer approach, 2,170. So for us, it's 2,200 feet. Elevation is about 530. So yeah, it's pretty much 1,500, 1,600 feet, or let's say 16, almost 1,700 feet above the ground. So we can already put that in here as our minimum. Borrow 2,200. Put that in there. It'll be config full landing. Let's do the calculations for the landing. Or not takeoff. Every landing we have to do our performance calculation. That is mandatory. So refresh the METAR, apply the METAR. Landing weight. is 64 tons. So 64.0. Auto brake. Well, we got a long landing distance. Let's try low auto brake, idle reverse, manual landing, flap full, and auto thrust off. We're not British Airways. Landing distance procedure was you have no failures, so we can just simply leave that. And we got the braking action, obviously dry runway. Runway is going to be 29. And there we go. So now we filled everything out and we get the landing distance required. So we have 1 knot crosswind, 8 knots headwind component, and auto brake low gives us a requirement of 2,045 meters, which sounds reasonable. 1,800 is something with rule of thumb. So with a factor of 1.15, so the factored landing distance would be 2,352, and that's shown you by this marker here. And so, yeah, landing distance available is 3,230 meters. So, yeah, auto brake low is a good value for us today. Auto brake low it is. Oh, we need to get descend. Let's go quickly open descend. Oh my god, how many? I am a little bit too high. So we're just going to keep the speed where it is, and then we're going to use the speed brakes. Speed brakes half. Oh, wow. Look at you. Yeah, Gabriel, I agree. Fantastic work done by the developers, especially Katie Pilot, who's done a great job, I think, as well. Yeah, it's very intuitive. You can very quickly switch between the apps. And we are in real time, aren't we? What time is it? 17:47. Yeah, we are. This is real time. Love it. So, how much to high? 1,500. So, let's go down. Let's descend now towards PLAP. And PLAP, we need... let's do the ILS approach. So, Dubrovnik. So, for the ILS Zulu, we need to be there at 5,000. So, let's do 5,000. And let's do this managed descent. Descent out blue. And the transition altitude is, oops, clicking the wrong button there. The transition altitude is going to be at 110. And there it is. Yeah, so we're coming into the path now. Let's go back to manage speed. Give full control to the aircraft again to fix that deviation. Speed brakes back in. Now you're going to love this. The 110 about transition altitude is 10,000, so it shows you here transition altitude, and normally the level will be 1,000 feet higher. So coming from above, going down to altitude is normally... Oh, I've got lots of questions still to go. Is there a situation where you only extend the landing lights but don't turn them on? Frankie, yes, on takeoff, when I get lineup clearance, I will, as a reminder, I will put them to the off position so that they extend. And that way I have a little reminder that we are cleared for lineup. And then with the takeoff clearance, I put them to on. Good, we're passing transition and the QNH is 1015. 1015 is set. LS keys on for the ILS approach. India Delta uniform is correct, 110.1, and the inbound course looks like 114. All correct. Yeah, all correct. Fly-by-wire, hey, how you doing? I saw a modified idle performance in the FENIX or something that they had to look at, low priority. Yeah, they are doing that, I know. I've just seen a post today, yeah. Bluebird? No, I don't think so, no. I again, that's data that is, you know, hard to come by. Which I have a disconnect. Oh yeah, you're right. Lol. Yeah, what happened there? So right back there. Lol. I don't know what happened there with the world. Let's go on. Let's continue. Company message. Let me distract you guys. C8 delay car. Oh, yeah, I know. It's pilot incompetence. I'm sorry. Delay code. Like seriously, are you kidding me? Yeah, so we're reaching the lower bracket, so we're gonna add thrust. Here comes speed mode. There we go. How is the taxi FENIX compared to the FS Labs? Airbus fan, I mean, that's again Microsoft issues. You're gonna have to get used to taxiing in Microsoft Flight Sim. It's just different. Unfortunately, Airbus fan, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, the failure menu. I mean, again, you know, over time we will do and have lots of fun with these failures. Oops. No. Oh God, no. Careful. Config. So manual failures. Yeah, again, there are so many failures. You can have, you know, brake failures, tire pressure, steering, landing gear control interface unit, hydraulic valves, gear locks. You could fail the gear locked up, locked down. Man, again, you can have so much electrical failures. Go away, don't touch those. Fuel pumps. I mean, it's just, yeah. Again, you will not get bored of this if you're into these kind of things. Right, let me go through the questions furthermore. Are you able to use the physical? No, so at the moment, no. So they are still working on the Scalaki approval, integration. Emra, well, I mean, do it logically. So yeah, obviously it's more an AGL thing. But think of it this way. What's critical about being below 10,000 feet? In a lot of regions this world, below 10,000, you have VFR traffic, uncontrolled traffic. So that's why, you know, you would think about going seatbelts on, reduce the speed to 250, etc., put the lights on. Yeah, use a bit of common sense. Yeah, so Michelle, again, we can talk about the things with FLS approaches, etc., at some stage. But if I want to do that, I want to do this properly. So I want to... actually, let's go 4,000 here. So 4,000, let's activate the approach phase. Slow down here. Already on the glide. Now, we're going to fly this with lock and flight path angle because I don't want to go into the full approach mode because we do want to break off from the procedure at some point. So I'm going to treat it more like a localized approach. Yeah, there's, well, I mean, there are some features with stairs, etc., pushback truck, but not full service like GSX, no. Here comes flaps 1, speed is checked, flaps 1. Does the FENIX auto updates the position when takeoff thrust regarding takeoff shift? Christian, I would need to check, I would need to deactivate the GPS. Alt star and then have a look. So lock. Then we go 2,200, and we're gonna go flight path angle. So we got lock, flight path angle 3 degrees, and what else do we want? What else do we want? 2,200 as the minimum. There we go. So descending nicely. We've got tailwind though, so typical it doesn't want to slow down. Let me just add a bit of speed brakes, try to get this, you know, below the VF.
Now that's how pros do it.
What are they doing wrong now? Normally you guys post this when I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to put flight direct off already. It's just like a bird. There we go. Flaps coming 2. Speed is checked. Flaps 2. Speed brakes back in. Poke the fence, say. Well, guys, I'm going to get through all the rest of the questions when I've landed. I'm going to concentrate on the procedure now because it is definitely challenging. So let me put this to 160 knots. So approaching minimums here.
2,500.
It's checked. What a gorgeous approach into the sunset. Oh yeah. Really nice. Alt star. So our first track we need to fly is
100 above.
157. So I can pre-select the track 157, and we want to break off just prior to Charlie Victor beacon. So 157 pre-select and continue. So here's Charlie Victor beacon.
Minimum.
Thank you. There it is. Right, that's one thing. Army, if you're watching, yeah, that's obviously still in need of getting fixed.
Minimum.
It would not call up minimums all the time.
Minimum.
So we are approaching.
Minimum. Minimum. Minimum.
Right, here comes the beacon. Checking raw data indication as well, guys. Don't just rely on your
minimum.
On your nav display. So there we go. It's now going to fall over.
Minimum.
Confirming that we're right over it or near it. So now we go 157.
Minimum.
And as previously mentioned, we've programmed in our fixed points there, you see? So we've got something to look at and help us track our position and then adjust as required. So let's get rid of the LS here. That's not needed anymore. So I'm going to continue until we are just prior to that point there. And again, visual approach, right? Let's put the gear down. Speed manage. Here comes flaps 3. Speed is checked, flaps 3. So there we go, downwind now. There we go. So we're on about roughly 114. Might just overshot a bit, so let's correct that a bit. Config 3. And I'm going to go onto the progress page now, because I do want to have a look at the distance to the threshold. And there we go. So we got to aim a little bit left here. Did overshoot just a tad. So look at the scenery. There's just, I mean, in real life, imagine with strong winds, you would be having real bad turbulence. No joking. 527, so 1,700 feet we need to lose. And again, we're still looking at the raw data indications. So here comes that radial from Dubrovnik. And when that hits 157, that's when we turn to the final, staying within that 4.8 miles. Good, manual flight. Flaps full, speed is checked, flaps full. And manual thrust.
Minimum.
I don't know why that's not mapped yet for me, but there we go.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Yeah, disregard. Normally, you would have a protective area where you would you would not have that call out. Right, 4 miles. I need to concentrate now. 4 miles.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
So we're heading towards Golf Romeo Beacon. Careful the speed. How many miles? We've got 3.5. So 3 miles, I want to be at 1,500 feet roundabout. So looking at the runway and the harpies, yeah, we're right on. So looking good. Maybe 3 red, 1 white. We can easily correct that. Who didn't switch to the side? My co-pilots. Good lord. Just getting a tad low here, so let's correct that quickly. That was a bit fast. There we go. 1 red, 3 red, 1 white. Landing checklist. EK memo landing, no blue. Clear to land. Yeah, I know the nose gear lights. Sorry. And normally you would have a first officer or pilot monitoring with you. So let's try to catch the right path with 2 white, 2 red. There it goes. Now another 3-degree profile down. Let's set the power correctly. Wind is pretty much front, 7 knots. I just realized I should have made some calls here. But I didn't hear anyone on frequency, so
300.
I wasn't really triggered to do anything.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Come on. Oh, come on. Floating. There we go. We have spoilers, reverse green decel. Manual brakes. That was a float. I haven't floated this for a while. Oh, the camera's...
Now that's how pros do it.
The camera's off, I see. Right, manual brakes. Let's exit here. Hey, Solar Wings. Bonsoir, monsieur. Yeah. I can tell you in real life, it would be a bit easier to do the approach because you could simply just move your head around and quickly establish, where you are, if you're too high or too low. While here in the sim, unless you're using VR, you are a bit limited on that. But lovely flight. And yeah, so again, you know, those that look for the absolute 100% correct system simulation, you will find some things, you know, you will find inaccurate. It will not matter to most of the flight simmers. They want a stable flight sim that, you know, that does what it's supposed to do with regards to, you know, basic stuff, VNAV, LNAV, airborne myth. So this is one of the topics regarding, you know, stutterers, FPS. So I'm using high settings, also high settings or quality settings for the displays. And I get, if I unlock the FPS, I get between, on the ground, 50, depending on the airport, obviously, to about, you know, 60 sometimes. But in flight, it will be 60 and above. But that depends on your system, on your settings, etc. So, and I don't get stutterers, at least not on my monitor, because I'm using VSync and a 30 Hertz setup. Now, some people may say, oh, 30 Hertz, that's not much.
Autopilot.
You know, that's not much.
Autopilot.
Why don't you use 60? Well, if I use 60 and I drop below 60 with VSync, then yeah, things get stuttery, and I don't want that unless you know, have a functioning G-Sync or something. But for me personally, when I'm flying, you know, offline and online, I use 30 FPS with the 30 Hertz VSync setup. Fly-by-wire for the win. Thank you so much for your donation, $4.99. Imagine the float with the shocklets, yeah. But then again, I mean, that was pilot-induced float. That was not... That was me just yanking the stick back just a little bit too much. So blame it on me. Glad you enjoyed it, Airborne. Right, yeah, we're going to do some more flights. So we're going to set up for the next flight, which is going to be from Sao Paulo to Rio, Santos Dumont. And there we're going to fly the RMP AR approach, yeah. So let's stop here. Parking brake set. APU is available. APU bleed on. Strobes were on. Radar was off. That can go off as well. And then we go 2 and 1. So let the engine spool down. Hey Bobby, yeah, I mean, again, I hope that at some point, you know, flight simmers, when they get bored with flying ILS approaches in their aircraft, I do hope that, you know, they pick up some instructions somewhere, maybe a stream or, you know, video, and they, you know, start doing different approaches. You know, learning by doing. So, oh, look at that. It's already docked. Fantastic. That has already docked. And what a beautiful evening here in Dubrovnik. That's incredible. Yes, I am a real-world pilot. I don't put it on my stream title for personal reasons. Deboard, please. So, there you go. And let's have a look ground services. Manu, the thing is, so apparently it's been close to the British Airways AOC. I'm not sure if it's exactly the British Airways AOC. It's not my company's AOC for sure. Oh, yeah, aft stairs. I'm gonna use 2 left. And so sometimes I have to search for some of the items in there. That's just the way it is. But there we go. Right, parking checklist. We've got APU bleed on. Yellow ilic pump is off. Engines are off. Fuel flow is 0. Seatbelts are off. And the park brake currently on. Although, do we have trucks? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, chocks are in place. So parking brake goes off. Helps with the cooling of the brakes, and radar predicted wind shear is off. Parking checklist complete. Oh yes, the brake fans. Let me just check the brake temperatures first of all. Oops. So 125, 80, auto brake low, not too heavy. Yeah, that sounds pretty realistic. And you can even see the animation there of the brake fan. Okay, let me go through the questions that we have still remaining. Did you see Hot Start implementing GPS jamming simulation for the next update? Rodeo, no, but I'm sure going to try it out. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Geep, it does. So you can get a own FENIX profile. Yes, I've seen one float around. Yeah. This is the FENIX simply SLS. No, not that I know of. No, the FLS, yes, but not SLS. No. RMP, LNAV, and circling approaches included. Well, yes. I mean, those approaches. So RMP, an RMP approach requires certain systems, yes. So you need the monitoring and alerting system. So when you deviate from your limitations in the approach, so let's say 0.3 miles. But yeah, normally all Airbuses these days have that. So RMP approaches shouldn't be an issue. If anything, the FLS will be an issue, or the RMP AR, so the authorization required. May not be there in the aircraft, but you can do RMP, you can do LNAV, final approach mode, that's all there. But circling approaches, I mean, again, circling approach is normally a hand-flown visual procedure. If anything, you know, you have a company overlay procedure, but I've not seen many in Navigraph, so that's why it's in the sim, at least, it's pretty restricted. Is there an option in Microsoft to have more detailed shadows? Apparently, Florian, there are some tweaks. I've seen, I think, a video on YouTube on that. Katie Pilot said in a company you can depart without having the final load sheet. It's handled differently in your company. Well, yeah. For us, we do need a final load sheet. We do need final figures. So we can't depart without it. I mean, we can go off blocks. We can go off blocks, but we can't take off without a final load sheet. Didn't some US military VIP aircraft do approach like this in the airport in bad weather at night? And, oh, I don't know. Simwings, I would not be surprised though. You know, you have to follow the rules with all these different approaches. You just cannot deviate from, you know, the limitations. Let's say visibility minimums for the ceiling of the clouds, etc., etc. So, you know, these procedures that are published will give you, if you follow them, give you adequate obstacle clearance. If you deviate from them, if you deviate by a certain margin, then you are risking flying into terrain. So, yeah, I mean, you know, that's what you learn in your pilot training, and you definitely do not learn that you deviate from these procedures and do your own procedures and, you know, fly around an IMC, although it's a visual approach, etc. Or you don't follow a pull-up command from the GPWS system. So we still have lots of questions remaining. Bear with me. Bob, yeah, the painters, if I remember correctly, the painters have the options to change those. But I'm not a painter, I'm not really into these things. But yeah, they are obviously aircraft livery dependent, so they are changeable. Max, I remember hearing during the COVID pandemic, PACs were opted to keep the cabin running with AC to still depart. Yes, no, we always have PACs on, Max. Yeah, we still have PACs on. Yeah, so Max, I mean, again, these approaches have a certain buffer for obstacle clearance. And so when you deviate outside of those safety zones, then you will fly into obstacles if you're not careful. So Flyby, why can't I remember what the FLS system is? Because even we don't have the FLS system. There are some very posh airlines somewhere that actually have the option. We don't either, so yeah. Yes, it does. So Sapphire, the EFB does remember the Navigraph credentials. Yes, I mean, if you update to a new version, so if there's an add-on update here in the FENIX, then you may have to re-log on, but that's a very fast process. So there we go. Right, just okay. While we go and read through the next questions, I'm going to go ahead and quickly reset. And let's go to Rio. Well, actually, first let's go to Sao Paulo. So, we're going to take the Avianca, and the departure airport is Sierra Bravo Golf Romeo. And let's depart somewhere here. Thank you, Toto. Very kind of you. So let's go there. Yeah, we'll go real time again, for sure. The loading tips, yeah, I know, right? So our standard state is actually on APU, I think. Yeah, it's just switching it off now. So just loading the standard state for us. Very nice. I hope that works. There we go. So weather. Yeah, I'm telling you, we've got some really funny people there. Seriously. Yeah, so real time and real. Oh, I need to do the flight plan as well.
Sync rate.
Pull up. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Too low. Terrain.
So where's my flight?
Too low. Terrain. Glide slope.
Right, so one of my moderators just told me I need to switch the streams. You're right, because I do want to have separate streams or video on demand or videos available afterwards. So I'm quickly stopping this stream. I will be right back in the sim within like 20 seconds. So bear with me, please.